Hi, everybody. My name is Rob Abel. I'm from the IMS Global Learning Consortium, and welcome to our Learning Impact on Demand series. We're here to explore the topic of effective digital teaching and learning and what we're experiencing in light of the accelerated movement to online, virtual, distance education, all forms of the above in the age of COVID-19 and beyond, hearing from leading IMS members, the smartest people on the planet when it comes to ed tech. Today, we have a 10-minute leadership interview on this topic, and we're very pleased to have with us Kent Peterson, who is the Chief Marketing Officer for McGraw-Hill Education, a learning science company and major ed tech provider to higher ed, K-12, and corporate learning. Welcome, Kent.
Hi, Rob. Glad to be here.
It's great to see you. So what we'd like to do for our audience here is really get your insights and the insights from McGraw-Hill in this unprecedented time, this acceleration, scale up of digital learning. Some's probably being done well, some perhaps not, all the spectrum in between. We know that COVID-19 is far from done. It's going to be impacting us for some time and maybe forever in some ways here. So we're going to kind of cover all those different time frames. Why don't we start with right now? What have you been learning so far in dealing with this unprecedented scale up of digital learning, and perhaps what do you see as the highest priorities right now?
Well, Rob, we're seeing incredible engagement from at the higher education level from instructors and administrators in anything related to online instruction, the content, tools, services, support. The ramp up has really been amazing. If you think about it, March 6th was when the University of Washington announced that it was going to close its campuses. Then over the weekend, there were a couple of more schools in the Pacific Northwest that announced the same thing. And so we were thinking, what's this going to mean for the support we can provide? And already by that following Tuesday, we came to the conclusion that all of the campuses were going to close. So we immediately went into an all hands on deck effort to send out messages of support during this time. We recognized that many students and instructor had already made their course material decisions, and so students had already paid for them. So we made the decision to help bridge this gap. We would make access to our platforms that allow for online learning free of charge. And already by the end of that week, we had over 650 requests from instructors who wanted to take advantage of that offer. And eventually, through this entire time, we ended up working with over 7,000 instructors from 1,500 schools that just needed this assistance to make this emergency transition from in-person to online learning. And so what that's, as far as the priorities right now, to me, what I'm seeing is this mad scramble to address the situation right now. And for many instructors, I mean, they had a matter of days to transition their mode of teaching. So, just some incredible stories of what schools and instructors have done. Now, as we shift and we think about the fall term, we have a little more time. I would love to see a much more robust and broad dialogue between all of the folks, the stakeholders that are involved in online learning around capabilities. And so this includes on campus, the academic administration, the IT folks, the folks who manage the local learning management system, along with providers, course material providers like McGraw-Hill, and of course the instructors, to make sure everybody understands what the capabilities are here. Because I think all the pieces are there to create a very robust learning experience online, but I think so many people have had to transition so quickly, they're not really sure what the capabilities are.
That's a great point. Yeah, they haven't even had time to consider all the options and what sort of capabilities are available. Are there specific types of products or capabilities you're thinking might be really important for the fall, where there is a little bit more time to think about what to put in place?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things out there. I think in many cases the infrastructure for online learning has been out there for several years. You think virtually every higher education institution has a learning management system out there, and from an instructional standpoint, I would say in most cases they're underutilized. And so
Mm-hmm.
immediately the LMS has become a much more important platform, critical platform for online delivery. And then, of course, you have a number of learning companies out there that have been developing tools that are designed specifically to engage with students in a one-on-one mode outside of classroom instruction. And so by bringing those tools in to an online learning course, we think that the online component can actually enhance the one-on-one instruction that the instructor provides.
Ah, they're very, very interesting. So how about further on down the line? I mean, do you think that there's going to be some lasting impact from all of this on whether it's higher ed or K-12 or both in terms of how we look at instruction going forward?
Yeah, absolutely. I think what you're going to see is as instructors and administrators become more aware of the possibilities of online learning and the tools out there and the capabilities. This is where I think they're going to see that regardless of the mode of instruction, whether it's face-to-face, hybrid, or online only, we can create a very rich learning experience using all of these tools. I
Mhm.
think there's a notion out there right now that online learning is of less quality. And I think, if you're not taking advantage of all the resources that are available in an online environment, you may argue, yes, that if you're just simply putting lectures on video or doing lectures via Zoom, you're not taking advantage of all of the opportunities you have to engage with students, via their computer or handheld device.
I see. Well, that's great. I wanted to thank you and McGraw-Hill for being a leader in our nonprofit work here at the IMS Global Learning Consortium. And I want to give you a chance to describe the impact of the work of IMS on this situation right now and perhaps going forward.
Well, it's going to take a village for us to help higher education make this transition. And the IMS membership is that village. The member companies play all the different roles that we need to have a very successful transition to online learning. So the interoperability standards that IMS works so hard to establish are going to become more important than ever before.
Oh, that's great to hear. I understand you wanted to ask me a question as well.
Yeah, well, as I say, this idea of having all of the stakeholders across the IMS spectrum work together is going to be very important in my mind. So, as a provider and a member, what can we do to help IMS advance its agenda during this time?
Well, thanks for that question. That's a great question. First, I just wanted to say that I think all of us who have been involved in IMS over the last 2 decades, when I say all of us, I mean any of us, any organization or person that's contributed, can be very proud of how our work has enabled greater choice, greater scale, greater usability, more innovation in a time like this. And it is true that most folks or many folks, think of IMS as primarily an organization that produces open standards, and that's fine. We'll take credit for that. But it is, as you mentioned, a very, very vibrant community, over 550 organizational members, and has grown very rapidly. It includes K-12, higher ed, meaning school districts, institutions, state departments of ed, as well as some 300 suppliers. And this series, in fact, is one way that we're trying to help bring our community together by really kind of talking to some of the key leaders, getting some of their ideas out, but we'll also be synthesizing these And then we have all the regular IMS meetings. You know, IMS conducts some 500 virtual meetings a year. That's without a pandemic. That's sort of the normal number, which is pretty mind-blowing and staggering if you think about it. But those are the ways that we bring the members together and to address issues like this. And so number one is just encouraging participation right now. And I'm happy to say we are having very strong participation in our groups, despite the other very important high priority things that are going on. So our members do understand that IMS is a place that can help. And I would say that, you know, now in these times, it's even more important for us all to work together to truly deliver on the promise of interoperability, right? The plug and play interoperability that actually does improve innovation while reducing cost and time to market. So that the way we do that in IMS is really, you know, by ensuring we all get it right through this program we have called certification program. And that's a role that all the IMS members can play, whether it's a school district or a hired institution or a supplier, working with their partners and really saying, well, now's the time to make sure we're all certified, because this is going to enable sort of thing you're talking about going into the fall, where we can understand what capabilities are out there and rapidly deploy them.
Yeah, great. We're happy to be a part of it.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Kent. And, you know, thank you to our viewers for tuning in. Time's up, but we look forward to seeing you back here for more of our series on highly effective digital teaching and learning. This is Rob Abel saying bye for now, and let's keep the learning going.